What is going down, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about former troubled NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown, because the Hollywood, Florida Police Department has issued an arrest warrant for Antonio Brown following allegations that he and, I guess, his trainer supposedly attacked a moving company truck driver or something like that near Antonio Brown's home in Florida. I guess Antonio Brown is now facing charges of burglary with battery on top of that. Burglary of an unoccupied conveyance and criminal mischief. So Antonio Brown is facing a lot of legal trouble right here. Supposedly, Brown's trainer was arrested on a felony burglary with battery charge on Tuesday. So he was just arrested yesterday. And when I got that report, I kind of, in the back of my mind, figured Antonio Brown would have some sort of ties with this situation. But Antonio Brown's trainer was on a bond for $20,000 and was released from Broward County Jail Wednesday night. So just tonight he was released, I think. Just tonight he was released. So I guess the police have told ESPN and, other outlets, media sources and things like that, that they've made several attempts to contact Antonio Brown to question him about the incident. Supposedly he's retreated into his home and he's ignoring their request to speak with them. So now obviously they've got to take another step, and that next step was obviously putting a warrant out for Antonio Brown, and he's got a warrant for his arrest now, which is bizarre. So I guess Antonio Brown today, the timeline of Antonio Brown today, supposedly he remained in or near his home throughout the whole day today. Now, obviously, with that being said, with obviously the police issuing Antonio Brown a warrant, they have the full right to go into his home and arrest him if need be. Now, I don't really know what Antonio Brown is going to do about this situation. I don't know if he's going to turn himself in. I don't know if he's going to want to talk to the police. This could get ugly, knowing how Antonio Brown is with issues upon things like this, because a lot of people think Antonio Brown has CTE issues, and that very likely could be, because I've never seen an NFL player act like Antonio Brown in my entire life. I know that I'm not the only one that thinks that. So, I don't know. But supposedly what led to, you guys are probably thinking, why did Antonio Brown even rob this moving truck driver or whatever? So supposedly Antonio Brown allegedly refused to pay the $4,000 fee for whatever the mover guy was doing, whatever he was moving out of Antonio Brown's home or into Antonio Brown's home. Brown supposedly demanded and refused to pay the $4,000 fee. So supposedly that's when the driver said Brown threw the rock. Supposedly Antonio Brown picked up a rock, threw the rock, denting and causing paint damage to the driver's side of the moving truck. So then obviously the driver ended up contacting police, and now here we are with Antonio Brown getting in trouble. Another argument ensued, and I guess supposedly the driver claims as well that Antonio Brown and Holt, who is Antonio Brown's trainer, attempted to grab his keys from the ignition to open the truck and get Brown's belongings, causing cuts and scratches on the driver. So basically, Antonio Brown took whatever he had in the moving truck and was hurting the driver in some way, shape, or form. So obviously Antonio Brown's not going to, go up there and say, yeah, I put my hands on him, because that's not who Antonio Brown is. We know that. I know that. Everybody knows that. Really, I can see this situation going two ways. I can see Antonio Brown being smart and realizing that, even though he's still having off-field issues, you know, maybe it's smart if I just turn myself in. But really, in all reality, I think Antonio Brown, the damage has been done with him, and I think that there's no spot for him in the NFL no longer. I just think he's done so much to kind of push NFL teams away from him and kind of push that interest away from them. But I mean, at the end of the day, we'll see how this pans out. But it could go as Antonio Brown turning himself in and, you know, thinking smartly, or I could really see this, which I'm kind of leaning more towards this. I can see Antonio Brown making this escalade and, you know, being wanted, and I could see this thing unfolding very, very badly too. But hopefully Antonio Brown can see that, you know, he wants to, you know, regain a spot in the NFL, and with that, you know, you have to turn yourself in, especially with a burglary and battery charge. That's a high felony right there. So we'll see how this shit unfolds with Antonio Brown. There's something new with this guy every single day. Last week it was about the Hollywood police being at his home, and supposedly his ex-wife came. Who knows? But at the end of the day, Antonio Brown is obviously very, very troubled. And I don't know if it's something to do with CTE. I don't know what it is. But Antonio Brown needs to get his head out of his behind for once and forever, and kind of get his head back on track. And I don't think that's ever going to happen. I genuinely don't. I think Antonio Brown, for him as an NFL player, I think that time's over. I really do. But obviously, we'll see how this unfolds. That's just my prediction. But with that being said, arrest warrant has been issued for Antonio Brown on burglary with battery charge. So let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section down below. And let me know what you guys think is going to unfold with this situation. Do you think Antonio Brown will turn himself in, or do you think this is just going to escalate to a more severe, you know, situation? So let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like on this video, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, go Niners.